I guess from where I'm sitting, you know, I've written a lot about you guys. I don't even cover the US. I cover Europe. Well, we'll get there. So we've heard on the stage already about the sour notes in the marketplace, the regulatory issues that all the incumbents and the operators have here. And yet you seem to be spending an awful lot of time here. Can you just give the audience a flavor of why Europe may be of interest, you know, or what your view is apparently?
Look, I've been very open that I think Europe has the potential to be incredibly exciting. And I believe that because of what we've just come through in the United States, this mobile internet revolution. It is fascinating. And Tim, you operate there, and I saw Philip. I know you're very familiar with what's going on in the United States. It is incredible, the amount of investment that's pouring in, but what the customer is doing when you deploy these mobile broadband networks and how they're utilizing the mobile broadband networks and the amount of disposable income they're willing to spend to have access to these services. And we're just now in the very beginnings or the cusp of delivering video on these networks. And I come to Europe, and I continue to be fascinated and surprised by how slow it's moving in Europe. But I think of that as a huge opportunity for somebody, right? I mean, I know we talked a lot about how the rules are sometimes an encumbrance to this, and I think it is systemic. We talked about this at lunch earlier. I know most of the CEOs here, and they're pretty smart people, and they like to earn money for their shareholders. And if the investment thesis were there, I have absolutely no doubt they'd be investing at a very aggressive pace. And so I step back and say there's probably something systemic here, all right? But I do believe that systemic issue eases over time. I think the motivations for the European Union itself are too dramatic because this mobile internet technology has so much impact on driving commerce, on driving productivity, on driving wealth, on driving prosperity, that it will inevitably emerge. And so there's going to have to be some public policy changes to drive this. But I look at this and see there's a lot of upside and a lot of potential for Europe.
Fantastic. Good news for all. And I suppose the other question is, in your lifetime, have you seen that shift, that shift where Europe has significantly lost its edge and the US has taken over as the number one digital economy in the world?
But yeah, so Ben quoted me. He probably got me in trouble a moment ago. But when we were having lunch, I did say it's fascinating to me that 6 years ago, Europe, broadly I'm talking, Europe would have been regarded by everybody as first in the world in terms of mobile technology investment, mobile technology deployment, and the ecosystem surrounding it. And think of the supply community and so forth, and all that was in Europe and was driving mobility. Really, a short 6 years later, in terms of the developed world, Europe, and I know you shouldn't talk about Europe broadly, but I'm going to do it anyway. But Europe has gone from first to among the last in the developed world in terms of deploying these technologies. And I'll go back to it again. Demographically, per capita income, productivity, education, all of those variables suggest that these ought to be very, very valuable services to the community here. So I am strongly of a mindset that it will evolve here.
Fantastic. And given the red flashing warning lights down there, I should maybe wrap this up quickly. And I know we could talk all afternoon. I mean, just with a simple, you know, are you a glass half full, glass half empty man when it comes to the European future?
Well, I'm an engineer, and I think the glass has got too much capacity, right? So I'm not an engineer. But as it relates to Europe, I'm obviously, the glass is half full. And I just be repetitive if I said it anymore. I just think the opportunity is really, really exciting for this continent in terms of what potential is here.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Randall, and good news for the lawyers in the room, I imagine, anyway. So,
thank you very much.